Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. We're going to be talking about I would guess you would call it like the 15th extended trailer of Thunderbolts. We're going to then talk about The Last of Us, the latest episode.
You
We're
you
going to
know
move on
what's
to talking about the three-episode season 2 premiere of Andor and end with a character spotlight from Mike. So, yeah,
you know
so
what's funny? You know what's funny about like the 15th trailer when we were talking about this before about how you said that this has to be the final trailer.
no, I
Um,
literally said that.
there was one more that came out.
That's the first thing that I realized when I said that too was the fact that I was like, "Oh, I was wrong yet again." But it was just so weird because it's like it. I don't think there was a rhyme or reason to it. I guess, but I guess they. So anyway, Mike hadn't seen it, so it really wasn't much different. The big difference here was we get to have the interaction of V, Winter Soldier, and the U.S. agent. So basically, it's an interaction being like, "Oh, Senator Barnes," and she goes, "I didn't think you were going to last long in the political stance, but I didn't think you were going to last as short as you did." And she goes, "Not even a half a term." She goes, "It was the shortest term in history." Um, which I thought was interesting. So we don't know why. So we pretty much knew or suspected that he was actually going to be the one to win, um, like be the winner of the Senate. However, we were definitely. I think I was surprised that he got. I guess you would say terminated. I don't know how best to describe that. Just because it's unclear of exactly what happened. Maybe they'll go into it more, maybe not. However, then we have her poking fun at U.S. Agent, stating how he's like the dime store version of Captain America. And then we have that, and then we move on to a quick scene of Ghost actually fighting. And I'm not gonna lie to you, the CGI for this fight was actually pretty good. I have to say, like a lot better than Ant-Man and the Wasp. But let's be honest, it didn't take much. The
Ant-Man and the Wasp or uh, Ant-Man the Quantum Realm.
Ghost was in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Sorry, I thought you were comparing it to that. So that okay, I understand what you mean now.
No, no, no. I was talking about the last
I
episode
thought you
fight.
yeah yeah okay.
So no, no. So that's why I said that. So anyway, so yeah, so we had that, and so she was actually fighting. She fought Taskmaster, White Widow, and U.S. Agent. We get to see the fight between the because it was weird. It was like the three of them versus her, but realistically, it was all of them versus each other. It's the scene where they supposedly bump into each other and they're all to fight the same guy, and then it turns out to be who we assume is going to be Bob.
Yeah.
So
Well.
it was that scene again.
Okay.
Um, well, no, the reason why I say that is because we are assuming they're all there for Bob, and we don't actually have never got confirmation that he's the reason why they're all there.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed that it was either way. V sent him there, and Bob, based off the trailer, V sent him there. Bob was there, and that's how they all got cahoots. Whatever.
Oh, that's
So,
fair. But yeah, so that was pretty much it. That was it. So we got this, like I said, we got to see more of Ghost fighting, which I thought was kind of cool. I mean, in that fight, we also got to see Taskmaster fight, White Widow, and U.S. Agent basically getting his butt kicked by literally everyone.
hmm
Um,
and then the other trailer that apparently popped this morning was or dropped was going actually went over what everyone was up to up until this point. So it was like a rehash of what everyone has
oh,
been
so I
going
didn't
through.
even see that.
Yeah, no, I said that we talked about this, and as you said this, another trailer dropped. So
Honestly, this is the weirdest movie because I feel like there's
it's
no
it it's one of
new.
those things where it's like again too many trailers. It's like I'm so terrified, but I've been hearing good things about it from the pre-releases.
Well, the difference is this is trailers. This isn't like them having a Tide commercial.
Advertising, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit different. I mean, I get your point, and I do sort of get it, but like at the same time, I feel like they're just
It,
keeping the
it,
hype, I guess. But I mean,
I
I've
mean,
heard
yeah,
nothing but I've also heard the same thing. I've heard nothing
yeah.
but good
I've
things
heard
about it.
nothing but good things, but it's one of those things where yes, it's not an advertisement, but it's still an oversaturation of hey, we're desperate, come see this movie,
Yeah, because it's
and
supposed to come out
it's coming
this
out
weekend.
this yeah, it comes out Thursday night.
That's right. I gotta make sure I watch it. Shoot.
Yeah.
That ruins my plans. All right, I got to figure that out. But that's not the end of the world. So, I for some reason thought it was next week. I don't know why. I think it's because the week starts in April. So I'm like, oh, it's not until May. It's not until next week.
Valid. That's actually valid.
So anyway, no. So anyway, that's not the end of the world. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I literally can't imagine anything else that they could give us. I mean,
Really, they basically revealed most of the movie at this point with all
well,
these
we assume,
trailers.
we assume like something else has got to happen that they're keeping in the chamber. Because remember how we talked about Captain America, where it was like the big reveal of Red Hulk and everything else. Oh no, sorry. Um, there was oh no, like they made a big deal in Captain America where it was like, oh, is he gonna turn into the Red Hulk? It's like we saw the trailer, we know he turns into the Red Hulk. Like, let's not go there.
Yeah, I mean this is where you and I differ in opinion on how Captain America went. I thought that the Red Hulk reveal should have been the surprise, and you were saying like, oh no, the surprise was how he got to that point. Which I
Well,
mean, like,
no, I think I'm more leaning towards you now on that one, just because I think it was one of those things where time really needed it to sink in for me.
mm,
Where I do agree with you now, where it's like you you could have let that be a surprise, but like they literally announced it before the movie was announced, right?
yeah, yeah.
Like because that was like the opening, like that was like him holding the shield. So in my mind, he should have turned into the Red Hulk almost immediately.
I mean like, that's the thing. Like with that, like that was my big thing with the movie is that as you know, as I've said, it's like they built it as the big thing for the movie, and like you said, the way that they were advertising it, it should have been happening like earlier than it was, and it was literally the
Well, like
entire thing of the movie.
that's kind of the thing where I'm thinking with a lot of the stuff that they shown is repeated footage, just extended.
It
So
is.
I'm wondering how much is going to be like I imagine the Sentry slash Void stuff is probably towards the middle, but everything else I'm feeling is probably towards
Has
the
to be
very
north,
beginning.
yeah, near the beginning. Yeah. So
Um,
we'll
but
have
we'll
to
have to wait
see.
and see.
This weekend is when it's going to happen. So,
Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to it. Mike is as well.
yep.
Neither one of us know when we're actually going to watch it.
Nope.
Um, so that's going to make it more fun. But yeah,
Saturday night. Hope maybe if I'm lucky, Friday night if I get work off, but we'll see.
I was gonna say, yeah, you don't have many options.
Nope.
But yeah, so let's move on right to The Last of Us episode 2. Mike wasn't a big fan of it, and you know what? Um I was originally coming in here to defend it,
Ha!
and I I was very disappointed at how do I want to phrase this? I was kind of for two things. One, I thought Joel was gonna. Here's the thing: I knew he was gonna die this season. There was no question of that
You just
whatsoever.
thought it was later, which yeah, I know you said that.
But I also feel like they did it kind of in the weirdest way this time in this. And when I say that, and we'll go into more detail about it in a minute, but like I feel like they kind of didn't give the audience kind of a closure type thing. Like they were just like, we're gonna not. It was the closest thing to killing him off camera that you could have done. Because like they beat him down so much beforehand, where we didn't like. I know it was alluded to, but it was like
Yeah. I mean, I can see that. See, like
I
I'm
also
looking.
felt like there was a
Uh,
lot happening this episode too,
mm, mm,
where it should have been spaced out maybe a little bit. Because especially
yeah.
for the fact that this only has 7 episodes, and last season was only 9. I mean, last season was 9.
Okay, I didn't realize there was only 7 episodes, so
Yeah,
that's something different. But so I'm look. My
17
perspective
episodes
is
less than
different.
last season.
My perspective is very different
Because
from yours.
you saw it from the game's perspective.
Exactly. So I saw my perspective is so much different where you're seeing this for the first time. So my perspective is how is this comparing to the game?
Absolutely,
And as I said in the first episode, I knew that they were going to change things.
of
I mean,
course.
absolutely, they're going to take their own spin on it. Maybe some things didn't work in the games that they were like, oh, maybe we'll improve it. I think everything that they changed in this very episode, some of the things that was they changed in episode 1, I was already like, I feel kind of iffy about this, but I'm willing to give it a chance but now coming into episode 2 with the amount that they did change, I was like, okay, I'm not liking how this direction is going. I
So,
definitely I think part of it is for just like little things. Uh I think they're worried about the homosexuality of it because in the game that took a big that had extreme backlash. So, for example,
I was gonna say I'm gonna need examples because
yep.
you're okay.
So when Ellie and I think his name is Jesse, the Asian kid, they go
Oh,
to find
the one that was first dating the girl and then now is
yeah.
okay,
Yep,
okay,
yep.
okay. No, just so I
So
know for myself.
so
All right.
in the show, they went out on patrol together and found the weed went to the weed shop and he
Yep.
said, "Oh, this was where uh uh Elijah I'm blanking on
Sure.
the
No, I know who you're
yeah.
talking. It was the guy before him.
It's Eugene.
Okay. I'm assuming that's important.
Well, I mean that's the guy that Joel killed that for the therapist.
Oh, that's I didn't even register that that's who that was. Like
Eugene, yeah.
that makes more sense. Okay, that I was like, are we supposed to know who that guy was? And again, they only said him by name. It wasn't like they
Yeah, we haven't seen him, and I
we
don't,
never
and
get.
at least in the point of the game, I don't know the reason why. Again, this could be new,
Yep.
but I don't know the reason why they killed him in the show versus in the game. It could have happened in the game, and I haven't gotten to the point because again, they've changing things.
Well, the other thing
But
too is
for so to the point where Jesse and Ellie go to the weed shop where Eugene had his stash. Ellie actually went there with Nina, and they full blown hooked up. And when they hooked up, Jesse came in and was like, "Hey, why are you guys just sitting around? Joel and Tommy are missing because Joel and Tommy went out on patrol and never came back. Unlike in the show, Joel went out with Nina.
yes, and then Tommy stayed with
Tommy stayed in the town where it got invaded. Again, could have happened in the game, hasn't happened yet. And Tommy, if it did happen in the game, Tommy was not there. So like they're changing a lot of stuff at the moment where it's again, scenes could happen. For example, Abby giving her backstory that didn't happen in the game while she's killing Joel. We just see her grab the golf club, and the next thing we know is we take the perspective of Ellie. She goes and well, that part is actually correct. Where Tommy and Joel find Abby in the wild, getting chased by the infected. They save her. Go to the temple, or not the temple, the lookout.
well, this time it was the other girl instead of Tommy, obviously.
It was yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but so like that was the same.
Yep, that was kind of the same. When in the game they get to the lookout, they literally when they find out it's Joel, they pistol whip Tommy, knock him out. In the game, in the show, they knock her out with drugs. I mean, not really a big deal.
No, no,
Um,
no, that didn't ruin anything for me
no, I'm
personally.
just giving you the
No, no,
different
but I
perspective.
get your point. Well, I feel like it was because it was a girl, and I hate saying it that way, but
I agree. That's literally what happened. It was like,
so I guess my
and then
question
also
is,
when so when we're looking at the town from the lookout and seeing the town burning,
yep.
the funny thing is in the lookout when they get there and get to safety, the horde is at the gate of the lookout because it was surrounded by a gate, and they were burning the zombies at the lookout instead of at the town. So it's like
Uh,
they're like changing little tiny things, and again, I'm sitting here from the perspective of the game, and I'm like, okay, this is weird, this is changing things, and I'm more of like, I think my negativity for it is building up because of the fact that I'm taking it as them being afraid to take the chance with the sexuality thing. And because of that, it's like they're changing a lot of stuff to kind of please the haters.
interesting. I mean that very well could be the case, and if so, that's very disappointing.
Yeah.
From somebody who didn't play the game, okay, I'll tell you my perspective right away. Um, I so pretty much to me everything made sense to me. But what was weird for me is like the fireflies. It seems like only she wants to kill him, and nobody else. Not that nobody else really cares, but nobody else seems to really want like seem to like want to be there, and they're just doing this to kind of please her. I just had a question: was that game related or unknown?
Which part?
So how the other members of the Firefly felt about Abby's mission?
So they all wanted him dead. Because he ruined their life. Like they were all fireflies. He killed them. Uh, they wanted it, but her dragging it out, they did not want.
Okay, no. So the idea was okay. So it's basically exactly the same in the sense of
That
like
part was the same.
okay,
How they
perfect.
went about the little details was a little different.
No, that's fine. I'm fine with that. So okay, so for me, it was just that part was just a little weird for me.
Hmm.
Maybe I just didn't feel it as believable. That's just a me personal thing. Um, the other piece I had a problem with was surprisingly the well, actually, there were so we haven't talked about this. So when we get to the town, I had a lot of issues with the town.
Okay.
Um, surprisingly, I know. Just because of I don't know. It's
Did it
just the
involve? Did it involve the dogs?
no, surprisingly not.
Oh,
You know what it
okay.
was? It had to do with the leadership. That bothered me a little bit. And we'll talk about it in a little bit. But
Okay.
anyway, so that was a big piece that I had a problem with. The only problem I had was the death scene. But I guess from what it sounds like, it was very similar to the game, where we kind of walk in and see him bleeding, and then they
Yeah.
do the finishing blow when she gets there.
Yeah. In the game, they have Abby beating him with the golf club, and in the
I mean,
show,
technically, in the show, it does happen. We just don't necessarily see it.
yep, in the show, when Ellie finally gets there, she's punching him. So that's a small little detail or difference, which isn't the
But
end of
they,
the world.
but to be fair, it wouldn't be all that surprising because she does grab a golf club at one point,
And she does grab the golf club at the
so we
beginning,
know,
but the
that something had happened.
yeah, but at the end, when Ellie comes in, all that is the same. She gets captured. She cuts a guy. Uh,
Yep.
they um they they then go. Ellie's threatening them, saying, "If you do this, I'm going to kill you." Joel,
Yep.
get up, get up. That's all the same. The difference is that Abby took the skewer and took it through his neck. In the game, uh, they finished him off with a headshot with the golf cue. Like they knocked him in the head, and that was the killing blow. Um,
I think, and so my issue wasn't how quick it was, but my
mhm.
guess would be is to make it very clear, like he's
It make it
dead.
make it clear that he's absolutely dead.
Yeah,
Um,
but I don't think it was I don't think it was the like the object or the act. It was more the fact of like I don't know. I
she
know this
stuck
is
it through his throat.
yeah.
Like this
I
is the
just
finale.
yeah. I just felt like we needed to see him get beat up. I don't know. That's just a me personal thing.
The other thing too is that when they finally killed Joel and they were leaving, Ellie was starting to fight back and crawl back to them.
Tommy stops her.
No, he's knocked out. The group, the guy that she cut does kick her in the head, but in the game she gets knocked out, and Nina and Jesse end up finding her knocked out, finding Tommy knocked out, and finding Joel dead. In this, she just gets kind of stunned and then proceeds to crawl towards Joel and
Yeah,
cry.
which I mean, it makes sense only because it's not. I think she knew she couldn't get over to them. Um,
I mean, she had other priorities, obviously.
no, no,
I mean,
absolutely. And I mean, it was definitely sad when the horse was pulling them in.
yeah.
That was definitely a sad moment. But no, we haven't talked about the town, and the town I had an issue with. Um, so I love their plan. Their plan actually, in my mind, was partially okay.
Hmm.
There was a couple of issues I had. One, hiding in the basements. You never hide in a basement. That's
Uh,
just
well, I mean, apparently, according to this show, is the zombies can get up to the roofs anyway, so there was really no.
I guess I don't know. I just to me, maybe they fortified the basements more than the roof. I don't know. It's just you get my point I'm making. I
I
just
totally understand it. You're trapped in the basement.
yeah.
If they find you, you're done.
Yeah, that was kind of my issue. So that was one, okay?
Mhm.
Then the other issue I had, surprisingly, so I love the beginning with the barrels and the shooting. I love that actually.
Yep. Yep.
Thought that was cool. That was very good. Then when they got to the point where they're like, "Oh, we now know they're gonna breach," woo, right? And so like they did their thing. That wasn't my issue either. And again, people running away with the flamethrower because they were too scared didn't actually bother me. Like it bothered me, but it made sense to me, type of thing.
It's one of those things where it irritates you, but if this were to happen in real
No,
life,
it
that
would make
would
sense. No, no,
happen.
no, absolutely. Like it made sense to me. The parts that I thought didn't make sense to me, um, was was actually I don't even know what to call her. I want to call her the mayor, but that's not right. She's the head council person, right? Or the head?
Oh, Tommy's wife.
Yes.
I forget her name. But
So,
yeah,
so my issue was the way she was running through the infected bothered me to no end.
that they didn't get her. Yeah, she
Yeah,
just.
yeah, like not a single one. So I didn't have an issue with like so. When I say I don't have an issue with the dogs, it made sense to me that they would have a solution to
Maria.
kind. Maria, thank you. I didn't have an issue with the dogs. So when I say this, I had an issue that they used dogs, but I understood it because they needed something to distract the infected, so they could then kill the infected.
Yeah, I mean the
Uh,
dogs could hopefully deal a killing blow as well. So.
no, absolutely. But you understand my point. Like in my mind, like although I wasn't a fan of it,
Mm,
it made sense to me.
mm.
Um, and then my other issue was the flamethrowers by themselves were the issue. And the reason why I had an issue with the flamethrowers is because they only use them in the town where everything is flammable.
Oh, well, I mean, in their defense, they had a perimeter that
No,
was
no, no, no.
supposed
But
to.
you understand my point though. Like
Yeah.
the idea was like yeah, that was another thing where it's like everything's wood
Yep.
and we're going to use fire. And again, I have no issues with the fire around the perimeter because the idea is you're okay with the perimeter getting damaged as long as it protects. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like I get that.
Yep.
But once you're inside, why do you have a line of flamethrowers? And then again, the big guy almost killing Tommy didn't bother me either. I kind of knew he was. Actually, I'll say this: I wasn't 1,000% sure if he was going to live or die.
I I mean, I assumed he was
No, because they weren't there to kill
because of
Joel.
how the game went. Like he kind of is a important part. He is a important plot point for the game. So for
I would
obviously me
imagine because
having
he's a former Firefly. I would imagine so.
well, so in the game after like I don't I'm nervous to say too much, but
Well, at this point, we don't even know if it's going to
in the
actually happen.
game after Joel gets killed, Tommy goes looking for revenge.
Oh, that's not a shock to me whatsoever. Um,
So like
no, I get that. No, but I understand that. So no, so all right. Let me rephrase it this way. I understand that, but you can understand that why I thought he might have died, only
yeah, the
because
situation.
because one, that guy was a big guy. Okay,
Yeah,
he was a very big guy.
a big boy.
No, that was big behemoth. Two, they have been doing different than the
The
excuse
game.
me the game. But yeah, no, I was definitely not 100% sure what was going to happen. Um, I mean, like I said, I kind of figured he was going to live, but I was starting to run out of options of like how he was going to live.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um,
You know.
and then, like I said, that was my big issue in the sense of like, just the going in the basement, her kind of running around nonchalantly through the infected.
Yeah.
Um, however, at the end when they were cleaning up, that made the most amount of sense. Was all the killings, the shootings in the heads, all that stuff
Making
was
sure that they
no,
were dead. Yep.
absolutely like that. That by 100% was exactly what I was expecting.
Number one rule of a zombie apocalypse: make sure the dead
But
is
also
dead.
killing all the infected right away as well. All 100% agreed. Like nothing, nothing after the actual incident bothered me. And
Mm,
realistically, the only incident issue I had was where they put the women and children, like the
yep.
non-fighters, and then how she was acting in it, where she was like running around without a problem. Like when they started to jump in and like like she just ran into the street, and I'm like, woman, like start
Yeah.
shooting these guys. Like I don't know. That
I
was my issue.
can understand what your issue with that is.
Just because, and again, it was just because great shooter. Don't get me wrong, Tommy's a great shooter too. But like they all knew that they couldn't do much with all those, right? They survived though.
Yep.
I mean, we don't know how many are dead. I'm assuming a lot. Um,
Good portion.
I mean,
Definitely.
that's my guess at the very least. But yeah, so I'm very curious on that front. I also feel like too, like
Um,
as a storyteller, I I feel like they kind of have to show like the town more often to kind of get
mhm.
us invested.
Yeah.
Um, but like those parts, like I guess the major parts of this episode bothered me a little bit. The overall, like not everything bothered me, but there were enough key points that were like, why is she doing this? Why are we killing Joel so quickly? In the sense of like, I don't know. I felt like we would have seen more of torture, and I know I hate saying it that way, but that's just a me personal thing.
One of the big things too, like I had said, is that even in my point in the game, I'm about halfway through,
Yep.
and we don't know everything about Abby. Is so we are like learning as the game is progressing. Oh, this is what this person has done. Like, oh, this is this is who this was. This is who this was. So the fact that in the very beginning of the second episode, essentially, that they reveal why she was going after Joel and why she killed him. I like that's a big part of the game. Like, who is this person? Why did she kill Joel? And now in the show, it's just like, oh, this is what happened. It's like,
Yeah, so
okay,
we kind of already knew what was going to happen. There was no like surprise really. It was
um,
exactly what we were expecting. I'm assuming, correct?
yeah. At that point, it's like we know who she is. We know why she wants Joel dead because Joel killed her father and all of her family. And you know, like I said, the big plot, one of the major plots of the game is learning who this person is and hunting them down. So as an audience member, we already know that, so that kind of like takes away a little bit of like the curiosity and what's keeping us in. So now it's just blatantly like, okay, now we have to go and wait for the revenge. Um, the other thing too, you had asked me about the intelligent infected, about how they crawl and like
Oh yes,
hide
yes,
and
yes, yes, yes,
whatever.
yes, yes.
I
They do skill.
like I said in so this was in the first episode where we see this. Um, in the game, I've only just encountered them halfway through the game, halfway through. So it's like another thing where it's like it doesn't really like change anything, but it for the show it's like they've introduced more earlier. Um,
Yeah, and I
and I'm
guess
curious why,
there's got to be something that happens that they're. I don't know. Like there's 5 episodes left, and I know you
Mhm.
didn't know that. Um,
Which kind of ruins it a little bit for me because it's like okay, kind of. I mean, again, well, actually, they might add more to it because of the fact that this is only half of the second game.
Well, that's the other thing too, where it's like, so I don't like that's my issue. Where it's like, I don't know, I'm very confused just because it's like we're gonna make it two like like 2 parts, right? But then at the same time, you're gonna cut it season wise. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like it's just it becomes a weird thing for me. Like I get it, maybe you don't want to have the um, the 14 episodes, maybe.
Hmm.
I get that for a season, but like you gotta meet us halfway a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Where it's like you can't say, oh, there's so much information, and then give us 2 episodes less.
yeah,
And you know what I mean? Like I guess overall you could argue like, well, it's more in general because it could have been just one season, another season, and be done.
yeah. I guess. I mean,
But you get my
you know me. If the story can handle it, give us more. I
well,
mean,
that's kind of more of what I'm getting at, where it's like
yeah,
I'd rather us because if you're adding stuff, I'd rather at this point get stuff.
exactly. Yeah. Um,
And that's more of where I come from in that sense, just because it's like I would like that.
I've encountered a few parts of the game where I'm like, okay, maybe this is where the show is gonna end for the season, or this is where it's gonna be. So
Right.
I'm curious how where the I'm curious where the end point will be for this season, and because obviously it's going to be some kind of cliffhanger. Like
Oh, for
like
sure. I mean, no
it
offense. I
has to
kind of,
be.
to be fair, I mean that's kind of what I'm expecting at this point, just because we know for sure it's going to be part one. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
a two-parter. Like they're not gonna not do that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like it's just
yeah.
like
I mean, yeah. No matter what, it's some kind of cliffhanger. What, like,
yeah,
again, depending on where in the game that they go. So
no,
potentially it
also
could
true.
be like a happy send off, or it could be like a uh,
The end with Ellie
cliffhanger.
gets stabbed in the gut, and we don't know if she lives or dies. Um, I was looking for an answer, and I think I'm pissing you off more as you knew I was, so you gave me that response. Um,
Because I know what's going on. For all you know, that could have happened in the game.
I know that's why I said it to try to get an answer out of you. And to be fair, I could just read about it,
You
but I'm too
could.
late. I could absolutely, but I'm too
I
lazy.
mean, at this point, you're in the middle of watching the show. If you had if the show hadn't come out this early and the you know
Yeah,
uh
because it came out earlier than we were expecting. Also, was didn't it? Or did we
uh
always?
well, no, I mean, we knew it was coming.
Oh no, I think just we had so much stuff going on that I think we were just didn't even realize it was coming.
I know a lot of people were complaining about Bella Ramsey being Ellie and how she looks the same age and whatever. And it's like she is
Mm,
literally 5 years older than what Ellie was in season 2. So it's like you guys just have to find reasons to complain. Like, I'm happy with her. I agree. I think that the one thing that I will say is that I agree. The actress that plays Abby looks a hell of a lot more like Ellie in the game than Bella Ramsey does. But
but I think
she's a great actress. So
what I
I
was
don't.
gonna say,
Or
and we've talked about this a lot actually. Like to me, I'm not disagreeing, but I think she's portrayed what we were expecting of her.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, she's playing the role well. So like, especially with how with what they're doing in this game in this show, I think she's doing a fantastic job.
No, absolutely. And so yeah, so it's just one of those things where it was just kind of like I don't think her looks ever bothered me, only because she's she's done what we were expecting. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it any more than
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, no,
I'd
that's
rather
it.
have somebody who doesn't look the part but plays the character well enough
Hmm.
where I don't have a problem with it.
Yep.
But
No,
that's just
I
me.
agree. Now, I actually have a question for you that you might know more than me. So, because it's more like politicalness,
Oh,
like political correctness, because Bella Ramsey doesn't that goes by they them.
yep.
How would I say? Is it actor, actress? Do you know?
I'm under the impression you go by actor at that point,
Okay,
just because it's I'm under the impression.
you go by the masculine.
Well, no, it's not so much that. It's weird as it sounds. Like I think at that point it's no longer. It's
Or actor is like a general term, whereas
yeah.
is
I think
okay.
it's more of like the occupation instead of the gender. I think at one point, because I think it changes, but I could be wrong. Um, um, I'm actually gonna look that up because I actually don't. I would assume actor.
Hmm. Okay, I mean, that's like I said, just curious because like I said, I said that she's
No,
in.
no. I get your point. I'm not. You're not wrong. Like I don't think you would be like so. You know what I'm saying? Like so awful.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I mean,
Oh no, I'm right.
you
Okay.
are
Yeah.
okay.
So it is referred simply as an actor. Is a general neutral and encompasses individuals of all genders, including those who identify as non-binary.
Okay,
Um,
good to know.
while some might still use the term actress, it is generally considered more inclusive to use actor instead. Okay. Interesting.
All right.
No, so I was correct. I wanted to double check.
Yeah, no,
Um,
perfectly fine.
but yeah, so but no, overall, I mean, I don't have any issues in the sense of like their casting so far.
Yeah.
Casting wise, I mean, in my opinion, they've done a great job with casting.
Hmm.
I know some people don't 100% agree, but I think so anyway. Um,
I mean, in all honesty, like, I'm surprised that in like out of all the discourse I've seen, I haven't seen like complaints about the fact that Maria they changed her race. But
that's the funny thing too, because because I noticed that too with it because I saw like a like a bunch. Obviously, it was a bunch of photos of like the character in the game and then the character in the show, and
Hmm.
I was like, she's the most different.
Yeah, right. It's
And
like,
I'm like, but I don't have. I mean, obviously, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm like, nobody else does. That's interesting that we have a problem with other people except for you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
But I just find that hilarious to me because you would think out of especially how people are like that would be one of the ones. But
yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess good on people for a change,
no, I
but
mean, agreed, 100% agreed. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in the next episode. I'm assuming we're going to see the aftermath of Joel's funeral
yep,
and what happened to the town. Would be my
yep.
guess. But other than that, I have no idea where we're going.
Nope. And
I mean, I'm
we,
assuming we're going to get ourselves ready for revenge, which again, even before you told me that, I kind of figured it was going to happen in some sort of capacity. I just didn't know what we were going to be getting, to be fair.
yeah, yeah,
And
obviously.
realistically, you don't either
Um,
fully.
but we'll see where the show goes. I mean, it's kind of like it's new for you. It's kind of new for me because they're changing the direction.
Yes.
Like
Well,
they're changing things.
that's kind of what I'm getting at too, where it's like, although you know you don't know at the same time type of thing,
Yeah,
which I think is also I think is good on them because you don't want necessarily audiences to know everything. I think at this point, but you also don't want to change it too much either. So it's a weird place that they got to be in, and I don't know if they're
eh.
doing it properly. What
I
would you
don't
say?
think I don't think they're doing it properly because it's one of those things where, as I say all the time, like with comics, you have to respect the source material. You can change things a little bit to give it your own spin, but like
Yeah,
when you're starting to just like overhaul everything,
agreed.
that's when it starts like falling apart. And I mean,
No, I don't
this
disagree.
we'll see how it plays out. Like the way that the story goes, the way that they're changing things could end up playing out where I turn around and say, you know what, this ended up being a good move, and I like the direction that they went. Or it could continue to go south, and I turn around and be like, this was a mistake. They should have never made season two. So I mean,
No, true.
um,
I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
yep.
But I think this episode definitely wasn't the best in my opinion, just because and again,
Which is unfortunate because this was something that I know me and a lot of people were looking forward to.
no, agreed. And I'm very curious. I mean, obviously, I'm giving it a chance. I want to see where it's gonna go and everything else, obviously. But the idea is like trying to figure out like what's their plan and kind of where they're gonna go.
Hmm.
But that's pretty much enough of that. Let's move on to Andor, because I
Yep.
have a concern. So these 3 episodes were good. Overall, they
Yeah.
were very good.
Very good.
I I
Very good.
I have one major issue,
Okay.
and I think
Aside for the locals, not really
no. So
locals.
actually, I didn't have a problem with them. I just thought they were stupid.
Yeah.
No, no. So it's like I realistically like it made sense to me. Like after watching it all, like it all worked. But like I just was like, really,
It all the dots were connected.
no, 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 no. They connected for the most part, but I'm like, really, people are that stupid, and I'm like, no, people are that stupid. But anyway,
Hey, when they're scared and desperate, they'll make
they
mistakes.
to be fair, they don't even need to be that to be stupid. But yes, you're right.
I mean, but
No,
in their defense, they were in that situation.
no, no. They were 100% in that situation, and I get that. No, so
Especially with those giant monsters that came out and attacked him at night.
no. So actually, my issue that I have is that it ends, and then we now know another year is going to go by when we see it again. So I think for some,
I was actually thinking that. I was like, "Oh, so this kind of just like e-
yes, like that was my
everything kind of just like, yeah.
So obviously we're going to get more information in the next episodes, obviously of what happened within the year, but you understand like to me that and again, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. We have to wait till next week to know just how they kind of meld it together. But I had a concern because it ended and I'm like, we don't have a lot of answers to things. And like I know I'm gotten better with like cliffhangers. These weren't cliffhangers. These were blatant like we're not gonna we might not talk about this like you know what I mean until next year. And again, when I say that, I mean like in obviously the universe.
Yeah, in the universe. Yeah.
However, I did love everything we got though because it gave us like and we've talked about this before. The reason why I like Andor so much is because it tells the story of the people and how war is just messed up and how
Yep.
people turn on each other and like we see that with the mechanics in the farmers. Are they
Yep.
harvesters or farmers?
Harvesters, because they're going around harvesting all
No, no, no. I know
the.
because I would think farmer, but the term that they use is harvester. That's
Yep,
why I
yep,
asked.
yep.
Also, oh my gosh, was that woman like raped a lot like when she was captured? It sounds like yes, and then
Yeah.
it was gonna happen again. Like I'm like, what the heck?
I was actually going to ask you how you handled that scene, because that whole thing caused a massive uproar online, because people, the people that are so anti Disney are looking for reasons why they don't like Disney, and they were latching onto that, saying sexual assault has no place in Star Wars and it shouldn't happen.
Well, no,
And
no, like it made
there was reasoning for it, is because Palpatine and Vader wouldn't allow it.
I don't think they care.
Why the Nazi empire that allows genocide
Well, no,
and
I think
murder would
my
not
whole
cut the draw the line at, oh yeah, you can't rape random people that we have no care about.
and I'm going to say something that is gonna be possibly controversial, but I would think not. I would imagine that they wouldn't care what their soldiers do to get them focused on the mission at hand again. And I
Yeah,
hate saying it that way, and I'm not agreeing with what was being done. I'm just stating, like, to
this
me,
is what happened.
no,
I
absolutely.
mean, they we it's canon that Palpatine had sex slaves to try to produce an heir. I
But
mean,
those were in the weren't those in the novels, and the novels aren't canon.
it was in Episode 9.
Clearly, I haven't seen it in so long, I forgot.
I
No, no,
mean, this
not
because
that I.
Ray is a Palpatine.
No, I know that.
But so, like, he was trying to produce an heir, and he literally just had slaves. I don't know if they were sex slaves, but they concubines, whatever, so that way he could get an heir that had force abilities.
Um, but no, but my point I'm making is like I was not surprised. So I'll say this: I was surprised at how very. How do I want to phrase this? Like
In your face.
yep, that's it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I'm not against it. Like it happens, unfortunately, and
Well, I mean,
obviously,
you should be against it, but
no, no, no. What I'm saying is, no, no, no. That's not what I'm saying.
I know what you
You're
meant.
so wrong. No, but my idea is the reason why it's in the forefront is because of these issues needing to be addressed. Because we try to pretend like it doesn't exist, and unfortunately it does. And
Yep.
like, and the idea is it unfortunately does. And this is the kind of signs that we see of it happening. People who have power or believe they have power and try
Abuse
to
it.
abuse it to their own means and ends.
And it's like one of those
Also,
things.
question: did we know that the blonde and the other guy were together? I don't remember that in season one.
I don't. I remember the Imperial officer, the one that you're talking about.
Getting
I
a divorce.
remember that he like was like awkward, and it like was like, oh, he has a crush on her. I don't remember them ever getting to actually officially getting
No,
together
no, that's
or
fine. That's fine.
teaming up,
I
or
just
like.
that felt like out of nowhere, but like also
Yeah.
worked. It was weird. It like it.
I loved her how she just put his mother in her place, where it's just like, I will allow him to call you once a month. He will continue to see you every so often, but I'm the boss, and you're gonna do what I say. It's
But I
like
also,
the mother was just like, "Ooh, I like you."
but I also think too, like this shows like the empire being filled with people who are not 1,000% evil.
Yeah,
Where like they still care about other people. It just is a specific.
I mean, it's just like anywhere else, where it's like there are some people that are like, okay, we're trying to do good, and they don't realize that the empire is actually bad.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
but to be fair, like we also found out a lot about her backstory too in this as
yeah,
well. Like her only family is the Empire,
uh huh.
so like to her,
She doesn't know any better.
no, agreed. So like it makes sense, and then obviously the boy is just a boy. I mean, I'm calling him a boy because
So the I don't know if you saw it, but the scene where her and his mother are talking, and he's just laying on the bed like moping. That was improv. Like that wasn't part of the plan, and he improv that, and they kept it in because they thought it added more to the scene, and it 100% did.
no, I mean,
Something just so very simple like made that scene so much more powerful.
it it was. Yeah, I mean, we knew how much power his mother had over him. Like, we definitely knew that. There was no question of that. But no, that particular thing I went. Mm. And to be fair,
We've all been there.
no, no,
We're,
no, no. Well, you more than me for sure, but yes. Um,
oh, please. You couldn't handle my work schedule. You know how many times you broke down when you had to work more than 50 hours?
oh, I was just thinking of parents, but that works too.
Oh, you're talking about. I thought you were just talking about like a life overwhelming you. All
No,
right,
no,
yeah, yeah. You're talking
I
about family.
no, I was because this scene was specifically family, and
It was specifically family, but it was like more of just along the lines of like you're just
oh
moping
no,
in
no, no,
bed
no,
because
no,
life is just
definitely,
getting you
no,
down.
definitely yes. I've definitely been there for sure, without a doubt. I will never say no on that one. I meant like the reason
But
for
yes,
it was literally the family.
with parents just like bringing you down and you just like I've had enough. Yeah, definitely. I got you beat on that one.
No, no, unfortunately, yeah, that is, I can't compete, and I'm not trying to, but I can't compete. But no,
please please compete.
not at all. But no, it was a very powerful scene, and I liked it. It also showed their relationship, which also was good too. And it also, I feel like is going to be a major point later on to destroy their relationship because she's going to have to be very secretive.
hmm Yeah, I mean,
Well, hear me out,
it'll go two ways. Either she'll get very secretive to and she will hide things from him and he'll get
or
upset,
he'll understand.
or he'll understand, or he or the the with their agreement, anything that happens, they're working together, so he's gonna find out. You know.
No, that's fair.
Um.
But no, it was definitely a great scene. I honestly thought that was going to be a dumb scene, like a filler
Yeah,
scene.
I thought it was. Yeah.
And to be fair, I think it sort of was to a certain degree, but at the same time, it fit perfectly with everything that was going on at the same time, because I believe, if I remember correctly, this scene was going on around the wedding.
Yeah, it was definitely like it was separate from what was going on, whether it was the
But
wedding
I feel like it's
or
also
him
very
on the
important to.
or yeah, like that's my point. Is like it's clearly an important scene where we need to know what's going
Yes.
on.
No, absolutely.
I wouldn't call it a filler scene because I definitely don't think it was just there to take up time.
No.
It was there to tell us what's going on.
No, and I also think too, like it also showed like what's going on in her head and like
hmm
what the relationship's going to be and everything else, and kind of like where their thought process is. But I also feel like she's going to be playing a major role, which again shouldn't be all that shocking because of what's been going on and what was happening in season one.
Yeah.
So none of that should be all that surprising. However, what I'm getting at is like on paper, this scene, without us knowing more, feels like it's a filler only because we don't know what's going to be happening in the future.
It didn't seem as important as everything else going on.
Yes, but I feel like it's going to. We just don't know it
So
yet.
like I mean again we're that well, not really again but like we're going on it a different way where like you're calling it a filler because it wasn't as important. I'm
No, no.
just
Let me
saying
phrase
it's
it
not
this
a
way. I
filler
felt like it
because
could be only because of we. It didn't seem to fit anywhere else, but I felt like it added to the story so much that
yeah.
it didn't even feel like that whatsoever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that sense.
hmm
But no, overall, like this was great. I loved the wedding was
The
incredible.
wedding was phenomenal. Just everything with the whole conservative family and her getting like she could have backed out and then turning around and being like I hate you and that just completely broke Mon Mothra like that.
Yeah.
uh and then obviously her getting threatened by her friend who is turning around and saying like oh well you clearly have a lot of money, either you pay up or I'm going to go somewhere else, like completely shutting her down. And then Lutheran, uh
Who I he steals the show
he
every
really
time.
does.
And like I think the best part was too was we see I know you're gonna, but we see his character acting like
Yeah.
like oh tell me more. I
Oh,
love this.
he is so great at literally playing a part.
Like
He's
it's so
playing a part while playing a part.
like it's so stupid to say because he's an actor obviously, but
Yeah.
like his character is meant to be like like a spy, and like to be a good spy you have to be a good actor, and like so it fits so perfectly, and it was just so good.
Yeah.
Also the plot twist of him, which we're assuming is his doing, was having his driver take the other guy.
Yeah, yeah. And clearly that like it wasn't entirely informed because they not the other group was not happy about seeing them. So
No, but the idea is because of how things unfolded he needed to take action on his own.
Oh yeah, no, no, no.
which I understood.
I understood it.
No,
Just
everything was understood. Nothing happened in this at all that did not make sense or felt like it was rushed or anything. My only complaint, and I said this, was how it ended, and not because I didn't think it was a good ending. I thought it was because, in my mind, we're going to be going a whole nother year
mm,
into the future.
yeah.
That is my only issue.
I'm curious to see how that time jump is going to play out.
They could do it really
So
well.
like
They could do it really well, and I
yeah,
don't have a problem with it.
it like I'm not gonna so like I'm not going as far as to say like I didn't like the ending. I'm just going to say that I'm curious to see how it'll play out, if it'll make
I
sense to the point that I will say okay, this is great, or okay, this was a bad idea.
I am going to agree with you on that one, but I will say that I at least was worried after it ended.
Correct. Yeah.
However, I thought it was great. I really did. Like, definitely didn't have any issues with it. Like I said, I really didn't. I couldn't. I mean, not that I was looking, but like everything was well done. I loved the secrecy of the Empire within the Empire. I
Yep.
loved all of it. Like
Hmm.
everything we were seeing is what I wanted. We got to see everything. Um,
It's
so good. We
it's one
also
of those things. It's one of those things where it's like I'm so glad Andor's back, but again, I'm so sad that there's only 3 more weeks left.
yes, and I'm very curious of how those 3 weeks are gonna go. That's the other
Yep.
thing. And
I'm
again,
looking forward to it.
no,
I'm
no,
looking forward to every
I am.
second of it.
Here's the thing. I'm
You
very
know,
much
it's
looking forward
just
to it, and I'm assuming because they've done a really good job with Andor, is it's gonna flow well enough that it's not even gonna. I'm not even gonna notice it's a year.
yeah. I hope so. I
No, that's
really
what
hope
that
so.
because that's what I'm thinking at this point. But I will say that it's at least a concern I have.
Hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I also
But
understand too.
yep.
Like
No,
we
great.
also
Loved like you said. I've loved every second of it. I loved everything that they did. I, I loved. I really loved Mon Mothra just dancing to the '90s techno.
but also like
That
I
was so
wish
great.
even her husband knew she was defeated. Like something's not right.
um.
But the one thing I will say is I actually I understand the decision of doing all 3 episodes at once because we kind of needed them
It.
to a certain
It's.
degree. I feel like we did. I
Here's the thing. If we didn't get all of them at the same time, I don't think it would have been as detrimental as it seems. I think if we had to wait week to week, I think the way that each episode ended, it ended well enough that it was like I can't wait to see what happens next. It flows well being able to watch all three of them together. I understand that point, but again, we're so used to the streaming thing where it's like we get everything immediately that it's kind of ruined that experience of being able to say like I can't wait for next week, you know?
no, and I agree with you. I get your
Because in
point.
actuality, like if this came out 20 years ago, one episode, that one of those episodes would have been like would have held us over. We would have had a lot of talk about in those one episodes, and next week
No,
comes
true.
and
To be fair, you're absolutely correct. And I get you're right. But I felt like the 3 episodes melded so well together.
yeah, no, it did meld together. It did meld together. Like I'm not like the fact that they went through all 3 episodes at once. I understand it.
And it,
I'm
and
not.
and I guess the point obviously is, and we said this before too. It's meant to be like 4 mini movies, or no, not 4 mini movies, 4 movies. My apologies.
Yeah, four full blown movies.
And so far,
It
yes.
has.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes. I'm not going to disagree to that. I I I will say like I was wondering too, like some of the guys that we saw that were the locals. I was like, do we know some of them? Because some of them look familiar. And then we all disappeared, and I was like, I don't care now. No, because it was for a moment I was like, I feel like we know some of them, or at least the one guy, the one who said his brother left, and we're assuming they're dead.
oh, like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know which one I'm talking about? The one with the long hair. He
The
was
one on
brought
the
in.
the ones on the planet that when that Andor was supposed to meet up. Yep.
Yeah. Um. So that was interesting as well. I also liked that the plan failed multiple times and yet
Yeah.
still was a success. As weird as it was.
It was constant failure and they adjusting on the fly, which is basically like the definition of the rebellion,
No,
because it was
absolutely.
constant setbacks until like they could succeed.
And I think that was the big thing for me that I loved the most was because it's not going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I feel like that's what makes it so much more real to me, and I
Yeah,
love every second of it. So
I
I
agree.
cannot wait to see year 3
Mm-hmm.
of Andor and seeing where it's going to go for the rest of it. But for now, let us move on to your character spotlight because realistically, we really don't know where it's going to go. Well, let me rephrase it this way: we do know where it's going to end
We know
because
it's
it's.
going to lead up to Rogue One.
But I mean, there's a lot of time in between that we don't know what's going to happen.
Yep,
Also, a lot of death. A lot of death.
lots of death.
And I'm assuming that's going to be the rest of these episodes is just a lot of death.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, sorry, your character spotlight, sir.
So my character spotlight this week is Jaina Hudson, otherwise known as the White Rabbit. So the reason why I selected this character this week is because I was doing some digging for some characters, and um, I've been seeing a lot of stuff saying that she is going to be a major character in Peacemaker season 2 because that's coming out soon. I figured I'll give a little bit of a touch on who she is.
Now,
So
question. This is a legitimate question. Is it White Rabbit in the sense of like? All right, let me phrase it this way. Sorry. Never mind. Continue. I'm gonna get my answer. I was gonna ask a question of whether it was related to Mad Hatter, but I will know in a minute.
Jaina Hudson, aka the White Rabbit, is a Alice in Wonderland themed enemy of Batman who is an Indian
First sentence. First sentence. If I
As
would,
soon as you started asking that, I'm like, you just can't wait 2 seconds.
I think that's what's funnier is the fact that it's literally the first sentence you say, and I go, "Ooh, okay, well this is not good for me." All right, I'm just proving Mike's point over and over again.
You kept telling me I'm the impatient one. Here we
No, no, no. It's definitely me. It's definitely me. I can't. After today, I can't deny it ever. Um,
Uh,
sorry. You were saying?
anyways, she was first introduced in 2011 in the Batman: The Dark Knight issue number 1. Um, some history. So Jaina Hudson is the daughter of Tom Hudson, an American diplomat who moved to India and married a Bollywood actress who is Jaina's mother. When Jaina was 9, she and her family moved from India to Gotham City. Since that time, she visited some private schools, and at some point, Jaina developed the ability to create an albino clone of herself with enhanced speed. Years later, Jaina becomes a charity fundraiser organizer and meets Bruce Wayne uh, at the charity function that will help give relief to Pakistan. The White Rabbit herself is first introduced during a breakout at Arkham Asylum. She cheeses Batman and the Gotham City Police Department before running off into the corridors. It soon becomes clear that Batman has never witnessed the woman before, and the other he speaks to remains skeptical of her existence, including Commissioner Gordon and Two-Face. Um, Neither of them had any prior knowledge to her existence. Um, and he and Alfred Pennyworth personally attempt to locate her while he tracks and detains the other escapees. Responding to a tip off about the location of the Joker, because he also escaped during this breakout, as he always does.
I was gonna say that's nothing new.
Yep. Batman enters a speeding train and finds a host of dead clown thugs. He also finds the alluring White Rabbit, but she only continues to tease him and asks that he chases her. Batman chases her for answers, but when he finally finds her in a compartment, White Rabbit is seen lounging over the Joker, implying the two are working together and that she may have been responsible for the breakout. Naturally, a fight breaks out between Batman and Joker, of which the latter turns out to be Clayface in disguise. After the reveal, the fight is finished off as Clayface topples over and lands on Batman. Whilst the hero is stuck, White Rabbit sensually strokes his face as she prepares to inject him with an unknown substance, most likely the anti-fear toxin she had infected Arkham's escapees with in the first place. But before that happens, she is interrupted by the Flash. White Rabbit escapes, continues to elude the Batman as she associates herself with other villains, including Scarecrow and Bane. Uh, the White Rabbit is later shown speaking to Jaina Hudson, and it is revealed that Jaina Hudson and the White Rabbit are the same person. She can be at two places at the same time. Um, in the Prime Earth during the New 52, she joins forces with Bane in Arkham Asylum and along with other villains to cause trouble in Batman's personal life and cause him great emotional pain.
Mm.
Now, some powers and abilities. She can she has the ability to biofission, which this says is, although its exact nature remains unknown, Jaina can duplicate herself into two beings, a second version of herself, and White Rabbit. This
Wait.
power,
All right, I gotta ask this question because this is where I'm a little confused. Is her clone of herself the White Rabbit, or is the White Rabbit a separate thing that she can create?
I am, I am going off the assumption that like it's one of those things where like Jaina Hudson herself is one person, and when she creates the clone, she splits her personality into two, where some of her goes into the White Rabbit, and some of her goes into like just a lesser version of Jaina Hudson it's herself. Do you kind of understand that? Like,
No, I do. I think my question is the fact. Okay, so she like, and again, I'm not. This is not a good visual because this doesn't have to be this way. But a piece of her comes out and it turns into what we know as the White Rabbit, and it's the albino version, and that's the one with the powers and everything else. And then the one that's left behind is technically just her.
yes.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted to know. I got my answer. Sorry, continue.
This power causes some physical changes in the White Rabbit, such as her skin tone getting lighter and her hair becoming white. Once the duplication takes place, Jaina and the White Rabbit become completely separate individuals with their own personalities and opinions.
No, to be fair, I thought you said there were three people. That's why I asked.
I understand the way that that was
No,
worded.
no, no. That's
Yes.
the only reason why I asked. So it's like I was correct. It made sense, but like for whatever reason, when you said that, it
Yeah.
sounded like there were
It,
three
it's
people.
the way that it was worded was very poor, but
Yeah,
I chuckled because again, if you waited the extra second, it
it
kind of
actually
explained
it
it.
it wouldn't have answered it actually.
Oh no,
I
you don't think
no,
so?
at least to me, I still would have had that question.
Okay.
Just to make sure that I was correct.
All right. I mean, that's fair then. I kind of took that as more of answering your question, but that's perfectly fine. If they're two separate beings, there's no three.
No, and then we yeah, that's fair.
Um, she also has enhanced speed. The White Rabbit is remarkably quick and agile, able to outrun most pursuers, even while wearing her trademark thigh-high boots with long spiked heels. She has also displayed considerable skill at evading, escaping numerous times from Batman himself. She has appeared in technically two other media appearances. Um, she appeared in the Gotham TV show, and
Interesting.
apparently she was going to appear in a canceled Batman video game, but
Did it say which one?
it says leaked concept art from a canceled video game developed by Warner Brother Games Montreal. The game was to star Damian Wayne and be set in the distant future of Gotham City. Her concept art shows her as being very silky and quite possibly elderly. Interesting.
Hmm.
And that is the White Rabbit. I'm curious if the rumors are true. I'm hearing the
So,
rumors that I was hearing was that and so they casted an actress to play her. So,
but all
um,
right. So I have a question.
mhm.
Only the duplicate that she creates is like the white split that she has is the White Rabbit. She is technically not the White Rabbit, correct? I know it's
I
a
mean,
it's a weird
y-
thing that you understand because she splits herself
yeah,
into two. I know it's weird to say because it
yeah,
is her, but it isn't her.
yeah. I mean, so technically it's not her, but yes, it is her because it is still like
Still, yeah. No, I get it.
it,
No.
it is still her, but like because she comes together at some point and she becomes
Fully.
Jada Hudson, but at the same time she doesn't control what her alter personality does when she becomes the White
When they
Rabbit.
split, yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's technically, I guess, in the eyes of the law, you would say that they're the same person because if they were to catch the White Rabbit, they would go after Jaina. They would go after Jada as well. Maybe Jane, no, not Jada. Jane, no.
Well, I feel like they'd have to wait to find out what was happening first before they put two and two together that they're together.
Well, I
So I
mean,
think
this
initially,
is in the terms of like if they
no,
knew
no, no,
everything going on.
no, no. If they did, yeah, I think you're right. I think she would still be arrested. But no, you understand the point I was asking. I was just
One hundred
curious
percent.
because it's like, because it sounds like she could. Obviously, she splits herself, and then obviously the only one that has the powers is the
Uh,
albino clone.
yeah, the split personality thing is tough. It is tough
No, so
to
but
pinpoint that.
only the white one, like the albino one, is the one with the powers, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Nope. I understood everything. That was it.
great. So next week you have Jesus. Next week is your character spotlight.
Yes.
Another episode of The Last of Us.
And
Three
three
more
more
episodes of
episodes of
Andor.
Andor, and we have the greatest movie ever to exist. It is Red Guardian's movie. It is Red Guardian, um, with an asterisk, um, on it. So I can't wait for that to come out this Thursday night.
I'm so done with you.
We're the Thunderbolts. We're not calling ourselves that. That's me.
It
Unfortunately,
is you. It is you. Like
if there ever was a superpowered being, I am the Red Guardian.
what
And
was so? Oh, what was one of the meme? The thing on Twitter that I sent you with the Sabrina Carpenter, where the anime
oh
character comes in
yes,
and tries to dance. When you said like you had seen it and thought it was so funny, the reason why I sent it to you in the first place was because I just pictured you as the anime character coming in to jump in to be included, and everyone is just like, "No, get the hell out of here."
glad my self-esteem is super high, and I can handle that. So that's great. I love that.
Oh please, you were going to tell me that you disagree?
I will say I didn't think about it until you said it, and now I can't disagree with you. No, I'll say that. So hopefully that answers your question.
Listen, you call yourself a special flavor, so if you can't handle a little reject from dancing, then we got some other
By the
issues.
way, did you see that song? That I sent
Uh,
you.
I didn't see any of the stuff that you sent me
No,
today. I've been so
no,
busy.
that's fine. You will have to watch one of them because it is a fat one, and
Oh god.
it's so funny because that it's exactly. Put it this way: when you see it and hear it, you'll be like, "This is exactly something Scott would do," and I would hate it now as much as I did then.
I can't
Um,
wait.
no, no, you'll love it, but you'll hate it at the same time. But anyway, so yeah, so next week, Mike's already said it. We're gonna do a character spotlight of mine. We're gonna talk about the Thunderbolts. We're gonna talk about Andor. We're gonna talk about The Last of Us, and hopefully there'll be no more trailers.
Please, no more trailers.
And this, you know what? How about this? The caveat is no more Thunderbolt trailers.
You say that. They will find a way.
Somehow they're gonna have one the day of the release to be like to get you ready for the movie trailer.
Yep.
Also, a lot of movies are doing a 25-year release for a lot of movies recently.
20th anniversary. Yeah.
Well, 20th and 25th. It depends on the movie. Dogma's coming out again,
Oh, I
and
didn't hear about that one.
no, that one. And then they're doing Revenge of the Sith.
That one came out this weekend.
I'm
It's out of theaters now.
sorry. I love the commercials for it. It's hilarious. When you,
Hayden Christensen is just promoting it with like holding a Vader cup and whatever, and I
they're like,
just
"What
love
movie
it.
are you gonna see?" And he's like, it's like,
Couldn't
I don't
tell you.
know. Who knows? But anyway, so if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Hill Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.